Today in this video we will discuss about the two important epics of the Vedic age, that is Ramayana and Mahabharat. So I would like to explain you in short first that who composed those epics and what are the importance of those epic for us, as it was basically compiled in the Vedic era. So the epics, that important epics of the Vedic age, is first is your Ramayana and the second one is your Mahabharata. Ramayana, you must have learned and heard about, you must have seen through the television, different media sources, what Ramayana is about. It's a family background where the love between the brothers and the fight for the right things was fought between the Lord Ram and the Ravana. So Ramayana, basically it was originally composed in the Sanskrit version, that is the language used for writing Ramayana is originally Sanskrit. Composed by whom? It was Maharshi Valmiki. So you must remember the name of the person who has written down or who has compiled it. That was Maharshi Valmiki. So he has composed in Sanskrit. Don't get with the Tulsidas. He has translated it into the Hindi version, but the real is what? Your Sanskrit. And it's all about the battle between Ram and Ravana. Regarding what? It was for the duty, devotion, love, and love shown by the brothers. So this is all about the Ramayana. And the next is what? Your Mahabharat composed in Sanskrit. Again the language was used what? Sanskrit, and compiled by the person name was Vedvyas or Vyasa. It's all about the war battle among the two groups of the cousins. So that was Kaurav and the Pandav. That also was the television. In the television, it was telecasted the serial as Mahabharat, where you must have got the chance, opportunity to see the Mahabharat, the beautiful story between the brothers of the Kaurav and the Pandav, and from that we also get the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, the true message which is given by Lord Krishna to Arjun. So this is what, to get the rightful kingdom of the throne. Now Bhagavad Gita, as I said earlier, what is Bhagavad Gita and what is the exact importance in our life? Bhagavad Gita, it's a part of Mahabharat, so don't get confused that it is a part of Ramayana. No, absolutely not. It's a part of Mahabharat. It's a section in which the messages were the speech given by Krishna to Arjun. So it was a right full spiritual speech given by the Krishna to motivate and inspire Arjuna, who had fear to stand against his own family head. So when the battle was going on, and Arjuna, though he was a very brave, talented soldier, but then also he was not ready to fight against his own forefathers and other elders over there. So this is what the story here. So he had to take a great courage to find to stand against his elders, the uncles and the brothers. So that was the true message given by Lord Krishna regarding the duty beside keeping the relationship. So what is the importance here? It helps a person when he or she is in a self conflict when the confusion is there, when we are disturbed with the mind. So then we turn towards the Gita and we definitely get some or the other solution which we need, because life is really very difficult. Sometimes we don't understand the situation, it's not in our hand, and then we are not able to take any decision. So that time people say, according to Hinduism, that if we go through the Gita definitely give us some or the other solution to get out of such a drastic condition. So this is what the self conflict toward his or her duties. So it gives the answer to the problem of human faced as per Hinduism. So this is short what I gave you, the importance, the epics, whatever is there. So now one thing is that you read this paragraph regarding the Ramayana. It's a story about the King Dashrath having the sons, and how he had to exile the eldest one. That please go to the story. If there will be any problem, we will deal with the story separately. If there is any problem, then please come to the importance of the epic. This is the important part, the important section that you must go through it. So the first point, it says the epic serve as a main source of information on the political institution and the social and cultural organization of the epic. What does this mean? Political institution, it give a picture about what type of a system was there, what kind of governorship was there, what type of a leadership was there to manage the kingdom or a tribe. So this is what your political institution. And the social again I would like to explain that what type of a class division were there, how the people had a social relationship with one another, occupation and other thing, and cultural organization. So all this idea we get the epic age. How? Because the book provided there, like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So through the story we come to know that the king was like that, he followed such celebration, he managed such relationship, he had such kind of a confidence over his dictatorship or any warrior or such things. This is what given here. The now second point, they provide information on various Aryan kingdoms, their armies and the weapons they used. So Aryan kingdom, we come to know about the different kings in the from those books. The names are there, and these names provide us, we get the idea that these kind of kingdoms were the Aryan kingdom, they followed such rules and regulation, and what type of army they possessed, how they fought the battle, what type of weapon they applied. So we get this idea from those kind of script or the epics, the books provided there. The Kshatriyas were entrusted with the defense of the kingdom, and they believed that the death on the battlefield was the noblest act in the life of the warrior. As today also in the modern era, our army, our soldiers, they love to die in the battlefield, isn't it? And because they feel that this is the noblest act on the earth. So the same feeling was with the Kshatriya, the class. They got the duty of defense, they had the duty to protect the people in the kingdom. So they were born to fight, and they felt that dying in the battlefield to protect the people of the kingdom, that was the most noblest thing. So this is what given a second point. The third is your epics are considered as the finest literary work of the ancient period and are acclaimed for the literary philosophical value. So of course this is an important one. Why? Because no other such kind of book are available, or we don't have any other source of information. So this is the finest work in the Sanskrit, and that also the language was used, what, Sanskrit, through which we get different shlokas, mantras, and so many information we get. So this is the ancient period best philosophical script which we get every idea, not only the philosophy of life, but we also get the information regarding the family life, the king's life, the warrior's life, other things also. Number four is they reveal the high ideals of the family life of the Aryans. So of course the Aryans, how they had a good relationship among the family member, that is also very important. We get the idea how they had a good relationship with the father, brother, mother. So that is what important here. Then the fifth point is the great heroes depicted in the epics are the embodiment of the high moral principles and made a great impact on the successive generation. So as we keep the Lord Rama with great value for his whatever the words he kept his, and he went for the exile. So we get the exact example how he kept his father's word. So this is what the embodiment of high moral principle, we get the idea, we try to copy. So that is also we get that how the people of that time they followed such principles in their life. So that was a good example. Now then sixth point is the Bhagavad Gita elaborates the karma philosophy and the immortality of the soul. So the Bhagavad Gita clearly specified that the karma, that is your action which makes the result later on, and the immortality of the soul, that the soul never dies. We take the birth so many times on this earth, but the soul is never that it perishes. So this is what here immortality of the soul. So this is all the philosophical thought that we get in the Bhagavad Gita, the part of Mahabharata. Now when we come to the B section, that is your archaeological sources, that was your literary sources which we discussed just now, that epics. So this Mahabharata and Ramayana is your literary sources. But now coming to your archaeological sources, we will come to know about the iron and the pottery. So the available archaeological sources of the period include iron implements. So iron implement includes all those things which the Aryan people, the kings, to the lower class people, so all what they were using as tools and the weapons. All right, now number one, this is what Aryan artifact. The discovery of iron mark an important stage in the march of the civilization in the world. So in India, the Iron Age began in 1000 BC. The village farming community gradually dispersed in the large part of India from Gangetic Plain to the peninsular India. Please don't forget, in the last video I have explained you that iron was vibrantly used in the later Vedic period, that was between 1000 to 500 BC. So that time it was used in maximum. So this is what happened. Now the people again started shifting. Earlier by that time they have come to the Gangetic Plain, but now with the help of iron, now they are shifting to the peninsular south. So now crossing the Ganga area, and now they are moving toward the South India. India. So iron was a harder metal. Why and how it helped? Because it was a harder metal, so it helped a lot, and it is compared with the copper. So this metal iron was harder than the copper and bronze, so it was cheap and available in plenty. Second, it was cheap, it was not very costly, so all can have that weapon, all can have that tools to manage their life. That is what given here, the cheap and available in plenty, and it was found in good number, so there was no scarcity of iron. Iron deposits were found over large areas. It was used in following area. Now what field that iron was being used? The first one is your agriculture, the first most prominent area where the iron was used. Discovery of iron gave the Aryans new implement like axes to clear the forest. Axes, which is a tool which is used by the people, woodcutter and all, to clear to cut down the tree. So this axes was to use to clear the jungle area, forest area, so that the large piece of land can be used for the agriculture. So axes to clear the forest and cultivate the land. Thus agriculture became their important occupation. So it helped a lot, and of course when the more and more agriculture practices will be done, so then there will be more production in the cereals and the grains, and that will be a good, then it will of course increase the economic value and the standard of living. So with the use of iron, plough heads, now earlier the plough heads were made of wood, but with the coming of iron, that shifted in the iron, sickles and hoes, so they could bring vast tract of land under cultivation. The production of more rice, wheat, barley, vegetables and fruits improve their standard of living. Of course when there is more amount of production, good amount of cereal, that can be exchanged, and there the things can be improved. You can see in the picture the iron tools which were being used vibrantly in the Vedic age. So these helped a lot in the agriculture sector. Then other than that, you will see other occupation beside agriculture. The use of iron gave rise to the new trade by providing durable implement like saw, chisel, hammer, nails and tongs. So this iron also, the in a different form, it was being used for other purpose also, like cutting, chopping, and for doing other work, that became a tool. So like saw, chisel, hammer. Now this gave rise to the occupation such as weaving. So weaving like sewing the things and all, spinning, carpentering, tanning and tool making. So for all this purpose, iron was being used as a tool. Then defense, a very important part, because of its durability. Durability means it remains longer period of time, it doesn't break or unless you apply any kind of a very strong pressure. So since it's a durable, it can last for long period of time, it was used. And easy availability, iron was extensively used in making weapons like sword, armors and shield. So that time for their fighting war and battle, the iron was being used in a large number. Even today, your maximum amount of the things which is made, like your vehicles to your weapons, your missiles, jets and all, so this is what the iron is an important part over there. Now the second the source of information regarding the archaeological is your pottery. Very important that right from the very evolution you have studied about how the fire and then the pottery was a great discovery for the early men's. As we come to the Vedic age, pottery forms an important source of information. There are two types of pottery found in the Vedic age, that is your grey color, and the painted greyware. So now above that another color was applied, that is what painted greyware, PGW. Pottery discovered at different sites in Punjab and Haryana is believed to belong to the Rig Vedic Aryan. So whatever the sources, the finding, the excavation site, so those unearthed when the things were down, so these type of potteries were found from the earth. So this is what here these areas, and we come to the conclusion that they were painted grey, later Vedic period pottery. They were the earliest earlier Vedic period pottery, so that you will see how the things changed. Now the important site include Bhagwanpura. These were the site where the potteries were found. So that location we come to know that these people were using such type of a pottery. So it's a Bhagwanpura, and then Dhadri, Ludhiana, it's Katapalan and Nagar, Jalandhar. These cultures are regarded as Rig Vedic because they belong to the same period and same region as mentioned in the Rig Veda. So whatever we have the information in the scripture, in the Vedas, in other, so they matches with it. So we come to conclusion that these pottery belong to the Vedic era. However, in the Ganga Yamuna Dav, the earliest iron object are generally associated with the PGW, but in the Ganga, because because they shifted in the later Vedic period to the Ganga area. So that time such potteries were, and they were painted ones. So this is what PGW pottery. However, in the Ganga Yamuna Dab, the earliest iron objects are generally associated with the PGW. Here, a number of sites associated with the prolific use of iron have been discovered. So there in that excavation area, there were so many types of iron weapons and other tools have been discovered that clearly show that they belong to the later Vedic period, and the things shows matches with the information. Now the thing is that the PGW, that is a painted graveware, is a very fine. So what is the difference between the graveware and the painted graveware? So painted graveware pottery, it is a fine, smooth and even colored pottery. So the new thing is that in a graveware that was a simple pottery, but here the colors had been applied. It was made out of well worked high quality clay. So the clay, the mud, the clay was made fine, smoother, with geometric pattern painted on it in black, and certain designs were made on the pots with the black floral patterns and sun symbols are seen in some cases. So we get, as we get the things out of the earth, we get that they were making floral flowers and the sun type of a symbols on those painted gray. The pottery includes open mouth balls and the dishes. Open mouth, where the mouths are open in a wide, it's not narrow. So this is what the feature of the pottery. Then the PGW painted graveware phase was followed by the northern black polish. This is another one which was more polished and it was more smoother. This is called what? Northern black polished ware phase, the beginning of which goes back to 700 BC. So that is again now coming towards the just ahead that 500. So it is about 700 BC. This pottery was more glossy and shining. This is the difference that you must understand. In the painted graveware, the symbols were suns and the flowers, but in the northern black ware, it was more glossy and shining. It is believed that use of this pottery was made by the people who dominated the economic and the social life of the period. Now this point is very important. Here you must understand those prominent people, the important people who were wealthy people, they were using such kind of a pottery. It was a luxurious item for that period. So this is what about your archaeological information. One thing is that I would like you to, that you should go with this paragraph regarding Ramayana and Mahabharata. This is what given you the story in short. You must go through it so that you must have a clear concept of Ramayana and Mahabharata, what it is all about. Next chapter, next video, I will try to cover the other part of social organization and the other things, the class division of the Vedic society. Kindly go through the chapter and make the notes as earliest. Thank you.